What's up, ladies and germs? Footloose Will here with another reaction video. All right, this time we have 10 things you didn't know about Friday the 13th, part 5. Now, this one, it was a good movie for what it is. It kind of, the ending threw me off, I'll say, without spoiling anything. But there were some good scenes in it. Alrighty, let's go. Here we go.
The 13th 5, A New Beginning, came out only a year after Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which was supposed to be the last installment in the franchise. Wow, didn't take them long to change their mind now, did it? Either way, let's check out some things you didn't know about the movie. Number 1. Corey Feldman was originally meant to be the lead role in the film, but he was working on The Goonies at the time. Number 2.
Yeah, that's why they only put him in flashbacks.
There were 16 scenes in the film that had to be cut down in order to get an R rating rather than an X rating.
That was the case for a lot of the Friday the 13th movies, actually.
By the time it was all said and done, the film was submitted to the MPAA 9 times before it was able to get an R.
Yep, sounds about right.
3. 2 of the actors in the film would work together on another film that same year. The 2 actors was Mark Venerini and Miguel A. Nunez.
Really, those daggone enchiladas.
The movie was Return of the Living Dead.
Huh, I didn't know that. Actually, I think a friend of mine told me about that. Now that I think about it, we watched Return of the Living Dead, and yeah.
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Number 4. Like many films in the franchise, this one went by a working title in order to keep the story a secret. This one went under the false title of Repetition. Some actors were able to guess that this was another Friday the 13th film.
I had heard that on a behind-the-scenes feature.
While some had no idea until they showed up for shooting and saw Tom Morga walking around on set dressed up as Jason Voorhees. Number 5. Deborah Voorhees' sex scene was originally going to be over 3 minutes long and much more intense. This was obviously cut way down so the film could get its R rating. Number 6. Speaking of Deborah Voorhees, she went on to be a school teacher after working on the movie.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, some of her students have found out about her sex scene in the film.
I was just thinking that.
So far, this has cost her 2 teaching jobs at 2 different high schools.
Yep, sounds about right.
Number 7. With the character of Tommy Jarvis being mentally unstable in the film, actor John Shepard wanted to do some research for the role, so he worked at a state mental hospital to gain some insight.
That I did not know.
Number 8. The ending of the film was never meant to be a dream sequence. Instead, it was intended to show that Tommy Jarvis has now went insane from his encounters with Jason and is going to become the new Jason.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think they changed that for some reason. I'm not sure.
Hence the title, A New Beginning. Once producers found out that fans didn't like this idea and wanted Jason of old back, it was scrapped. Number 9. Originally, Violet's death scene in the film was going to be much more gruesome. First, Jason would come into her room and discover Violet working out, instead of busting out those sweet dance moves we've all come to know and love. She would then be killed with a machete right to the crotch. Producers considered this to be, quote, tasteless, end quote, so it was removed. Still, here's a photo of Tiffany Helm in makeup for the original death scene. Number 10. In the original script, the beginning of the film would have been completely different. following the events of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, a young Tommy Jarvis would wake up in the hospital after the brutal attacks. In a psychotic rage, he would attack some of the hospital staff until he made his way into the morgue where he'd find Jason's body. Upon approaching the body, Jason would spring to life and sit up. Then the
Sounds like a typical Jason
adult
movie.
Tommy would immediately wake up in the back of the van while on his way to Pinehurst Youth Development Center. And that's it for our list of things you did.
Alrighty then. That was pretty interesting. I think I knew most of those. But what did you think? I hope you liked it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And have a good night.